Okay. Yep, that appears to be us recording. So what I'll do is, once we start, as I said to David the other day, is to do it a little bit different from how most of them do. So it'll be a wee bit mix of a formal thing, informal, and we'll take it from there, you know. So
sounds good, Mark. Sounds good.
So Tom, you'll have had a busy couple of days, if not weeks, if not months. So in terms of when you actually press the button for everything to go live, how's it been?
Overall, Mark, I think fantastically positive in terms of, I guess, the feedback from fans on the designs of the kits. I think both the home and away, which have now been launched, have gone down incredibly well, which is fantastic. And obviously for us to receive that feedback is brilliant. And then in terms of, I guess, from a financial perspective, the amount of kits that we've sold has been equally fantastic. I wouldn't say unexpected. I always have to kind of come across, be careful not to come across as if we were overly confident, but I'd certainly say that within the Castore business, we were quietly confident that if we created a good product, there was going to be fantastic demand there from the Rangers fan base, just given I've said this before, given the sheer size and passion within the fan base, and that before you even kind of take into consideration some of the historical issues that have maybe built up some latent demand. But I guess notwithstanding all of that, it's been absolutely unbelievable for me and the Castore team to like I said, see the brilliant numbers, see the amount of kits that we've sold. And I may have said this already, but the unit numbers that we've shifted in the first kind of couple of weeks are on par with anything other than the very, very top Premier League and other European teams. So it's funny because quite often when you're launching a partnership of this kind of size and complexity, it's never a moment to really kind of stop and take stock, because you're straight on to the next thing. And I mean, we'll talk about it today, I'm sure, but there's always a million issues that you need to deal with. So you never actually stop and congratulate yourself. But actually, I think it is quite important for us all really to say, geez, that is a really strong performance, and that's been delivered in a very, very short space of time. So it's fantastic. But all of that said, it's already on to the next one. A lot of exciting stuff in the pipeline, so we're already looking forward to that.
Well, what I was going to do today was to have a little bit of a mixture between, you know, the kind of overview of the club, the business, and then some specific questions from the punters. And what I was going to suggest to you was that on some of those specific questions, I don't wish to become a conduit for every complaint in the world or every suggestion in the world. But there's a few of them, sure. I think if we could maybe address them, if I send them down to your press office, and then maybe get a couple of wee specific answers to them. And also I think
that's absolutely fine, okay.
There are quite a few folk have got questions and suggestions that might be worthwhile for your team to examine, you know. So obviously when we first
that would be nice. Okay.
Sorry, I was losing you a little bit there, Tom, with your microphone. It might just be this connection.
Sure. Bear with me one sec. I'm gonna change things.
Sure.
So one. That's on 4G now, so hopefully it's better.
Okay. It's better sound, but sadly we've lost your pretty face. Oh, here you come again.
You'll be able to see me now. Don't worry about that. Lucky you.
one of the beach boys that got away. So when we first talked, I was trying to go over to you that, you know, Rangers fans have always had a real pride, actually, because we were the club as a whole were so often first to market with, whether it was hospitality, with the Rangers shops that were everywhere, with the type of products that were available to the fans. You know, it was a real matter of pride for Rangers fans that we were into that first. In terms of your interaction with the people at the club, have you picked that up, and has that informed how you've tried to to get your operations going, as well as obviously you've got to take care of business and get the shirts first and foremost. But in terms of how you're looking at the store and the offer that you're going to have, is that informed what you've been thinking about?
I think that's exactly right, Mark. I mean, you said it there, that this football club, and aside from all of the fantastic success we all are very aware of, the innovative mindset, if we can call it that, being cutting edge, being forward thinking, having that almost a challenger mindset would be how I describe it, and certainly something that I always challenge my teams internally at Castore to ensure that they have right the way across the business, and that has been met in almost a symmetrical way with the football club and all of our dealings with the commercial team, and we had a lot of conversations with them about how we launched the kit, what we were looking to do with the kit launches. Now, I guess the truth is we were working to a very compressed timeline this season. Normally you'd want 12 if not 18 months to build up to a partnership launch like this. We had, I guess, a third of that amount, if that. So it was very much a case this season of, right, we want to be innovative, but within the realms of, okay, first and foremost, we've got to be able to deliver the kit. That's clearly priority number one. But certainly on the store, there's been a lot more scope for us to try and be creative, try and do innovative, different things that maybe others aren't thinking about. Don't want to give it all away here today, but obviously we've got the store opening tomorrow. Incredibly exciting moment, both for us, Castore, incredibly proud to be part of this moment, and of course for the fans as well, because I think most people would agree it's long overdue that the fans of this football club had a store that they can really call their own and really be proud to call their own. So really excited about that tomorrow. And I think, to answer the question directly, Mark, we have really challenged ourselves and said, okay, what can we do within the store that's different? So there's a lot of ideas that are being worked on at the moment. They won't all be there from the start, albeit there are some exciting things that we're looking forward to tomorrow. But around having that personalisation option available in store, combining the digital offering and the physical offering of the store, player events, doing certain talks and other things that just take it beyond the purely you kind of come into the store on a Saturday afternoon before the game at Ibrox, which of course is what many fans will want to do, but really elevate it beyond that and make it a 7-day-a-week store. And that does require consistent effort, energy, and dedication, kind of focused in order to deliver that. But that's really the challenge that we've set ourselves, and we weren't really close with the club to deliver that. So, like I say, cannot wait to get the fans' feedback when we do open it this week.
We'll come back in a minute to the store and also to the offer, as you say. We're now living in a different service fulfillment environment than we were even 5 or certainly 10 years ago. I can remember days when we were doing the old follow T-shirts, and it was 28 days delivery that you had, whereas now people have come to expect next day delivery. Certainly, I mean, I've been freaked out a few times ordering stuff from Amazon, and it's actually been delivered the same day. So what we can't get away from is that the scale of what you've had to do is big, but also I think in terms of the stories we've had from punters with regards to, you know, the damage to the Hermes packages, which could be perhaps just down to the almost the over branding, you know, putting on little touches that have actually come back to us. In terms of Hermes in particular, with the problems they've had, have you got a complete handle on what the situation has actually been? Will there be improvements, or what's the state of play there in terms of we were talking about 2,000 the other day. Is that accurate? Has that been acted on?
So it's as you can imagine, Mark, it's quite a fluid situation. I mean, our priority number one was to, and I think I've said this already, but it's probably worth reiterating that given the previous kit partnership and retail partnership that the football club had, we were only contractually able to start dispatching product as of the 1st of August, which I know kind of frustrated many fans because they quite rightly and understandably wanted to have their home jersey ready for the first game of the season. So that was the earliest possible time that we could start getting the shirts and the kits to fans. The vast majority have got there completely as we expected, and kind of in line with our kind of timelines that we'd planned for. As you've said there has been in the context of the kind of the tens of thousands of shirts that have been going out, a fairly small number, but still, of course, for any individual fan, it's clearly very, very frustrating and annoying. Where, I guess, to be completely candid, the packages have been sabotaged, for want of a better word. So what we're working on at the moment is to ensure that, and that's clearly, unfortunately, something that's outside of my direct control because it's with a third party courier, but what we can do and what we are doing is making sure that we've beefed up our customer service team. So we've doubled the size of that team, was it Wednesday today, since last Saturday, so that there's more people available to respond to the requests that are coming in. Normally you kind of work to between 2 and 4% of any orders that go out, you'll get requests back from customers. That's been enhanced by the sabotage issue that we've unfortunately had with Hermes, but we've beefed up the team already this week so that we can effectively respond far more quickly, and hopefully anyone that has unfortunately received a sabotage product will be able to get their new product sent out in an unbranded bag on this occasion this week. So we're working as hard as we possibly can. It's not an overstatement to say that we're working around the clock to ensure that we get all of those sabotage products out as quickly as we can this week. Again, if I'm honest, it's not something that we'd foreseen in the context, I suppose, of everything else that we were working on. Hermes are a very trusted partner, and I think branding up the bags was kind of something that we thought would be a really nice touch for fans that maybe hasn't had quite the effect that we'd hoped or expected for, but we are now reacting to it as quickly as we can, and we hope to work through kind of the backlog of those products that we need to get out again as soon as we possibly can.
So the delivery is one issue, and I'll come back to that with some individual questions later. In terms of the quality of, obviously, the first team strip is really the flagship of everything that you're going to be doing. In terms of the quality of that, in terms of loose threads or misprints or whatever, are you happy enough with that? Are you getting feedback? Any idea on the percentages that are, you're happy with the quality control that's in there?
But by and large, Mark, yes. I think I always have to be slightly aware because whenever I get a report 3 times a week on kind of what's out there on social media, and a lot of the stuff you see on social media is stuff that's been doctored or people are maybe playing a slight game and trying to be ever so slightly mischievous in kind of putting stuff out there that isn't necessarily an accurate representation of the truth. So that I think accounts for probably a fair amount of some of the stuff that's been brought to my attention. That said, again, kind of not dissimilarly to the Hermes delivery kind of issues or situation within the context of 50,000 products going out in 24 hours. There is humans involved in this process, in the manufacturing of these products, and human error will normally account broadly a similar amount to the delivery error. So normally 1 or 2%, which again, given the amount of kit we've delivered, is going to be more than we would like. But again, kind of it's certainly no more than we'd anticipated or planned for. And again, what we're doing is ensuring that any legitimate kind of concern on that front, and there are some legitimate ones out there, they'll be getting a replacement as soon as we can, which should be this week. So yeah, it's something that is, I suppose, a natural part of the business when you're delivering this many products in this period of time. Something that we always want to be on top of. The team are on top of it, and hopefully everyone's got that flagship product with the required quality that it should be very, very soon if they haven't already. And I know an awful lot of people have got that already.
In terms of the money that goes back to Rangers, years ago Rangers introduced the concept of Rangers Direct, where if you were buying directly from the club through its mail order operation, or in this case, Rangers stroke Castore. What's the? I know it's very difficult to talk about some of these legacy issues. So, and I know you wouldn't want to. So, if I just make a general comment, which is that it's as well that we do offer genuine non-Rangers outlets the ability to sell the kits in their stores, and but in rough terms, I mean, I'm not going to push you on exact percentages, but I have heard that up to over 95% of the sales will come through Rangers stroke Castore rather than high street outlets. Would that be a ballpark figure or wildly inaccurate?
Well, you're clearly very well informed, Mark, because that is very accurate. And as you quite succinctly said there, it was a requirement, would be a fair word to use, for us to give other non-Rangers outlets the ability to sell not all of the product, that's important to say, but access to a certain amount of the products. It is worth saying that we do have a number of products coming out later this year throughout the course of the season. We're trying to push as hard as we can to get as much as that pre-Christmas, which is clearly going to be an important time for fans, and not everyone will get access to some of those limited edition products, but the broader product offering, as you've said there, will be sold in a small amount of other non-Rangers retail environments, but the 95% being directly from Rangers stroke Castore is a highly accurate figure, I would say.
In terms of yourselves as a brand, Castore, I'm not going to oversell you or undersell you, but seem to be a kind of a niche brand. That was how you marketed yourselves, as something a bit special, a bit out of the ordinary. In terms of being gearing up to the numbers and the kind of products you've got, how much of a challenge has that been to you, or have there been challenges that you didn't expect?
I mean, there's definitely been challenges that we didn't expect. I mean, it's a really good question, Mark. The first thing I'd say is I haven't seen it as a challenge, but an opportunity. I mean, I think the last time you and I spoke, I probably said the words that my ambitions and my brother's ambition for Castore is to build a global challenger brand. Clearly, that's a big ambition. We're very well aware of the fact that that's not something that's easy to achieve, but that's the challenge that we've set for ourselves, and we've done I think it would be fair to say, a pretty good job of delivering on that ambition thus far, albeit still got a hell of a long way to go, and that is very exciting. But the truth is, you do not build a global sportswear brand without partnering with global football teams, which clearly Rangers Football Club is. So we haven't seen this as a challenge. We've seen it as a real opportunity. Let's throw ourselves into it. Let's give it absolutely everything that we've got. This is, again, we're not Nike, who have 50, 60, 70, 100 football clubs in their portfolio at any given moment in time. And if 5, 10, 15% of them don't quite go as they expected, then never mind, because they've still got Liverpool or whoever else it is they've just signed. For us, delivering this deal successfully is absolutely fundamental to what we want to do with Castore in the coming years. So we've pulled out all the stops. Again, I think I said on Rangers TV earlier this week that we've had planes chartered to fly product from Europe into our factory in the UK, so that it could get here far more quickly than if it had gone on a commercial airline. We've had staff working all hours God send to make sure that the quality control's going through. Does any of that mean that it's going to be perfect? Unfortunately not, because we live in a real world, and there are always challenges. As you say, there's always challenges that we couldn't expect, or we didn't expect with kind of the branding on the bag, stuff like that. But I guess you live and learn, and by and large, I think the vast majority has been done in a way that I'm broadly content with. So it's certainly been a challenge, but really for me and for the business, it's just an opportunity, because the demand's there, and the truth is that is not the case for very many football clubs in this country or in the UK or Europe more broadly, because we know that if we get this right, the demand from this football club is just phenomenal. It really is. So you couldn't ask for a better incentive to really give it your all and make sure you get it right. Like I said, I don't want to sit here and promise that everything's going to be perfect and all the rest of it, because unfortunately when you're delivering a project of this size and scale and complexity within the timelines, that there are always going to be unforeseen challenges and that there's always going to be slight imperfections. But like I said, all we can do is ensure that absolutely everything goes into making sure it's done as well as it possibly can be, and any challenges are rectified as quickly as they possibly can be.
In terms of the development of the product, I've got a question here from one of our users, a guy called Bounce Backability, and he was saying engagement groups were used as part of the rebranding. It was a Rangers fan who got to produce the new typography, and there were, prior to the strips being unveiled, there were a couple of concept scripts that were crackers. You yourself had mentioned you'd seen them online. Will you be using those fan-based engagements going forward for club ideas as well as other club rebranding?
Absolutely, yes. So this season the clock was against us, would maybe be a slight understatement. So we obviously very, very closely engaged with the club, and through the club we had access to some fans and what the fans were looking for from the new strips. But actually where I see the big opportunity, Mark, is the season after the coming one, or the present one I should say, where obviously a very, very special season in the history of the football club, that we've really got the lead time that we would usually like. We've got 12 months now, give or take, to prepare for that season, develop the kits and the wider product range for that season. And for that,
I've managed to lose your sound a wee bit there, Tom.
That's what we've seen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It's come back in. I just missed the last sort of 10-15 seconds there.
Sorry, I'll just start from the top. So next season, clearly a huge moment, a huge season historically for the football club. So we are very, very much intending to have the fans involved in the process of designing and developing not just the kits, but the wider product offering for next season. So that's something we're very excited about, and we feel very privileged that we actually got 12 months to properly prepare for that kit launch. Compared to what we've delivered this season, so that will give us the chance to get fans far more heavily involved, which is really exciting.
In terms of, so you've got 12 months to come to the 150th, so you are almost appealing to fans if they've got an idea, as don't tell us the year afterwards, tell us as soon as you can, because quite often I've found some of the best ideas come out of nowhere. So you're saying that opportunity is there if you want to try and influence what happens with next year's kit and the offer around 150 years of Rangers, then take it now.
That's exactly right, Mark. And I think what we'll look to do, or what my design team will look to do, is formalise a process by which we get fans' feedback and we can kind of collate that in a sensible way, because I suspect there's going to be an awful lot of feedback which will be really helpful. So we want to make sure we take it on board in the right way so that it feeds into the kit. So yeah, that's certainly one to look out for in the coming weeks.
Coming back to today's issues, a fellow long-term member called Baku Bear, who's out in Azerbaijan, and he's saying, could somebody respond to my email on shipping to Baku as you took the cash? Now, he's tried to contact you through Rangers Store at Castore, concierge at Rangers Store. He's saying he's a patient bear, but he'd just be keen to know that that his order has been accepted. Is there a particular place you would prefer people to direct their queries to get them done quicker?
So the Rangers Store is the best place for people to email into, Mark. That, like I said, there's been a fairly significant change in the last kind of 48 hours in terms of the number of people that are responding to those requests. The reason for that being that because of these kind of parcel sabotage issues that we hadn't foreseen, that's effectively got clogged up, and there's certainly been more kind of requests than we were kind of prepared for or anticipating. But we have now taken the action to get more people responding to that. So if the email goes into the Rangers Store email, it should, where are we today, Wednesday, they should get a fairly rapid response on that.
Okay. So one of our other users, the Predator, he was exactly asking that. Are you going to employ more people? Naked Bear's talking about he's seen posters been given £25 credit note. Will that be extended to all who don't receive their pre-orders by a certain date?
I don't know is the honest answer to that. So we've got a team that deal with it at an operational level. I think what those guys do is they'll look at it on a case by case, and as you can imagine, we've got to be ever so slightly careful of.
Managed to lose you again, Tom. I've lost your sound there. Screen's frozen at this end.
Hi, Mark.
Hi there. I've got you back again. It's just
Sorry.
So that's us back on records.
Where did it go off?
It was about you're going to look at on a case by case basis the £25 basically credit note. So that's good. I'll let the punters know that. There's another punter. It's all but beautiful. His order hasn't been dispatched. I've contacted Rangers and Castore, and I've heard nothing. Pre-ordered over a month. Again, I'll ask him for his details and pass them down to you.
Thanks, Mark.
Shongo asking roughly the same. In terms of moving on slightly different, Pentasa says Castore have a lot of specific running gear on their website. Are they going to make any of it Rangers branded? It would be nice to have a massive runners. We've got a massive runners thread in the lounge, and I wouldn't mind some Rangers stuff when I'm out for a run.
Sorry, Mark. It seems to be a slightly dodgy connection. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you again now, mate. Yep. Your screen's come up blank and I can't hear you.